think we should. He may not be the most successful Stevie in the country at the moment. Let's be honest, he's not even the most successful Stevie in the bloody green room. But he's our Stevie. He's the people's Stevie. Please welcome the wonderful Steve Coogan. Well, welcome back on the show. It's lovely to see you again.
Lovely to see you again.
I'm delighted to say Steve Coogan. You know, I haven't seen you perform live for years. For years and years and years and years. And Steve Coogan is back. He's going to be doing a big live tour in the country, and I'm very excited about this because I wanted to see you do this again. I'm assuming it's a lot of new material. Is it any new characters? What can you tell us about the tour?
It's all the... well, I'm doing Tom Saxondale, which I've not done before.
Tommy Saxondale. So you've never done him live?
No, no. But I'm doing Paul Calf, Pauline Calf, Duncan Thickett, and Alan Partridge, of course. And I'm doing me as well at the end of the show.
What's the tour called? It's got an amusing title.
It's called Steve Coogan Presents Alan Partridge and Other Less Successful Characters.
Okay, because there was a mixed level of popularity with all these...
Yeah, there is. You have to sort of build up to... I mean, there are sort of Paul and Pauline fans out there, but obviously Alan's the kind of my hit singer.
Well, I've always loved Paul and Pauline Calf. Okay, obviously I love Alan Partridge, but I'm wondering whether you favour characters or prefer doing characters which maybe aren't the most popular ones.
I do like doing I do like doing Paul Calf because in fact when I do him on stage it's like having a rest because I just behave like I'm slightly drunk and just sort of mouth off about things.
Well,
it's not a big stretch for me.
I've always thought, can I just be... Because you're not a bad-looking fella, Steve, but I've always thought you look really good with the Paul Calf hair. I think you should wear that just yourself on that day. Yeah.
A mullet.
Yeah.
The problem is, because these days, because of postmodernism, right, anything goes, right? So you try and wear clothes that are crap, and you realise that... I mean, he used to wear like a thin tie and a sort of thin lapel jacket, and that's what all these sort of... These young pop star hipsters are wearing these days, so it kind of spoils it.
Don't go looking out there for them. We've got a bloke with big bollocks. He's got a canvas bag with a banana in it. You know, you're not... this isn't hip centre right here.
It's not. But you know, that's your audience.
Thank you, boss.
We're evens now. Let's be friends from now on.
Okay,
it's easier.
Be nice. All right. So the tour is I know it's sold out pretty much already, but you're doing one big date. I believe you're doing at the O2 Centre, where of course Stevie Wonder's playing this very weekend. Now he sold out in seconds. I mean the tickets there sold out in just I believe the minute they were announced there were tickets. It was gone. Yeah. He could have filled that place 20 or 30 times over. Yeah. How are you doing on the sales for the O2 Centre? Just curious. Sold out already. Not sold out.
They're not gone on sale yet. They're not going on sale. And we have. In fact, the reason we put the date on at the O2 is because all the other tickets were sold out.
Because all the small venues were sold out. So you're trying your luck with the Stevie Wonder style venue.
Apollo has sold out. So with several dates, and so we're putting in the O2 to satisfy the huge demand.
Huge demand. But it's not sold out yet, I imagine.
It's not on sale yet, Jonathan. But when it goes on sale next weekend, I'm sure that within minutes,
Stevie Wonder doesn't know this yet.
Days.
He's touring in about 10 years' time. They're sold out already. He hasn't even confirmed the dates.
Okay, all right. Look, I've come to terms with the fact that I'm not as big as Stevie Wonder.
In so many ways.
What does that even mean?
I'm just guessing, Stevie. I'm just guessing, OK? That wasn't me looking through the dressing room window earlier, I promise. It was Titchmarsh. And you do a big song at the end.
Yes, I do.
And this sounds to me, from what I've heard, and I read an article with you in one of the newspapers, one of the broadsheets, it sounds like it's a bit of a rude song.
It's rude. It's probably got the rudest word in the English language that's said over and over again. Right? Charlie, what's the military sort of language for it?
November. Here, Coogan.
Charlie, November, Tango, and the word for you in the middle. Yeah.
You do a song about King Canute.
In a manner of speaking, yes.
See you next Tuesday. That's what we're talking about here, isn't it? Yeah. OK. Are you concerned about doing this? Are you worried about the reaction it will have?
I'm not really, because it's sort of like, I think the thing is, like, I really like to... I'd rather sort of go down in flames than say people like I'd sort of gone sort of off the boil. So I'm going to be doing some quite sort of risque things. There's some fans of mine who like my stuff on Radio 4. You know, Radio 4 people who... They don't like vulgarity, they like cleverness. And there'll be a lot of cleverness in the show, but there will be lots of
Smart.
Good.
For people like me.
For people like you, of course.
First time I met Steve Coogan many years ago, and I didn't really meet, it wasn't a big auspicious meeting. For some reason, I was roped into a Royal Variety performance, and as you know, I don't have really an act. I was there introducing someone. Steve was on, and this was before he'd gone away and seen the light and come back doing character comedy, and you were doing straightforward impersonations of the old school, weren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember? I think you even did Frank Spencer on stage.
I did do Frank Spencer, and ironically, as a kind of this is the impression you're not supposed to do.
But people were just enjoying it.
They were just enjoying it because it was Frank Spencer.
It was a bloody good impersonation.
I know, yeah.
Could I trouble you for a bit of Frank Spencer?
Put it over there or do it in the morning.
But that's what we like. I've got to be honest with you.
I've got to tell you, actually, Jonathan came to my 30th birthday party, and what really made me laugh was that my dad was there. My dad came up and said, Jonathan said, "You must be very proud of your son. He's done very well."
Hold on. No one talks like that. It's not just a bad impersonation of me, it's a bad impersonation of a human being. You must be very proud of your son. Someone talk like that, they'd be hit on the head and disposed of.
Oh, well, yeah, they seem to recognise who it was.
Right, so what did I say to your father?
You said, you must be very... no, I'm going to...
Do the voice if you must.
You must be very proud of your son, Mr. Coogan. He's done so well. You must be very proud of him. And my dad looked at Jonathan Ross and went, "I know the face."
Yeah. OK, what do they make of Alan Partridge over in the States? Because you're making something of a success over there now. You're in there's a new movie opening here next week, and on next week's show we have the brilliant Ben Stiller on the show. Terrific comedian. He stars in that movie alongside you, and he directed it as well. I think he co-wrote it. So obviously you're known over there, and you have a solid and growing career out there. What do they make of you as a performer, and what do they make of shows like Partridge? Is that appreciated there? Is that enjoyed?
Well, it's sort of got a kind of cult following over there. All the funny people who are famous like it, you know. And it kind of, I mean, Ben Stiller said he watched it on his laptop in his kitchen with his wife, so because they wasn't available on BBC, hadn't provided it in an American format. Interesting, but yeah, no, there is a kind of a cult following.
So you've got a groundswell of appreciation. People know what you can do, but that's not a character I can imagine. Would that work in America? I suppose if they
it's very, very British. A lot of my comedy is very, very British. I mean, my live show.
But you know, you say that. Hold on a second. Let's think about this. The Office, which over here, which when I saw it, I mean, initially I didn't get it when I first saw it. I didn't realise what was going on. Yeah. Then I fell in love with it. So many people did, and I thought this is quintessentially British. It's about humiliation. It's about a pompous character who self-deluding, and yet in America they transferred it, and it's working great. I'm sure they could do that with Partridge.
I think there's a couple of people who are sort of interested in it, in sort of doing something with it in an American way, but it's getting the right people, the right person to play, you know, to play Alan. You know, he's very specific and he's very sort of performance-driven. You know, it's very much about me doing all that and speaking like that and being an idiot.
Yeah.
So it's quite a tall order. But in some ways it's been an advantage to me because over here I'm sort of typecast a little bit with that.
Well, they know you more for that.
But that's what got them.
So they know you really as a straight actor with a comic bent.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Whereas over here, in fact, when I meet film directors out there, if they're British, I go, they're not going to give me a job because they just think of me as Alan Partridge. Whereas American directors tend to see me as being able to do
proper acting.
Grown-up acting.
All right, well, two things I want to ask you. One is whether you miss doing the character ever, whether you would do another TV series because of that, and the second question would be what's happened to this Partridge film, which seemed to be on again, off again, on again, off again. Looks like it's never going to happen, I guess, now.
Well, I do like doing him, funny enough, and I do still have moments when I'm walking down the street and I think, I wonder what Alan would say about that.
So you really do? So he feels like a fully grown person?
Yes, he does. He's sort of like, he's the thing is, because he's like a real person, if he was a real person, he'd be very annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, he's funny because he's sort of a character, but if you were actually stuck in a lift with him, he'd be a horrible, annoying person.
Yeah, awful.
So in a way, it's like me knowing this really annoying person who sometimes helps me be funny.
Yeah.
But the rest of the time, I think, oh God, it's that annoying person again. But I do enjoy performing and do enjoy it. And in the live show that I'm doing, there's going to be a big fat chunk of Alan.
And so this live show, and this is new, a kind of new development in his career, or is it just the character?
No, he's going to be doing a big lifestyle presentation.
So he's moved on from when we last saw him on TV?
Oh, yes, he's turned his life around. He's had an epiphany, and he wants to help people who want to get their life back on track with a big kind of presentation.
So like a kind of a life coach, one of those.
Yeah, he's like a life coach.
Okay,
now.
okay.
Yeah.
And what sort of advice does he give to people? What sort of things does he offer up?
Well, he has pearls of wisdom. One of his pearls of wisdom is that yesterday, today
Hang on,
was...
you
today
can't
was,
do it in your voice. You know,
okay. Yesterday, today was tomorrow, but tomorrow, today will be yesterday. that's sort of
well, you can't argue with that.
You can't argue with it. It's actually, in fact, technically correct.
But it's a meaningless waffle.
Meaningless, yes. Meaningless. There's lots of meaningless waffle in it. And he also does a world premiere of his new play, which is based on the life of Sir Thomas More. In which Alan will be playing Sir Thomas More, which will also feature Anne Boleyn and Henry VIII. So,
and the movie, Partridge the movie, is not going to happen. It's never going to happen.
I don't know, mate.
Because you had an idea. You were going ahead with an idea and stuff, weren't you?
Yeah, but it's just some mornings I wake up and think, oh, that'd be a really great, really funny thing to do, and then some mornings I wake up and think, oh, I can't be bothered. I should never have opened my mouth about it in the first place. But I mean, yeah, it might happen. You know, it might.
You wouldn't want to do it and get it wrong, of course. That would
no,
be
that's the problem. That's
downside.
the big problem. Is like, you know, there's a kind of a legacy of Alan on telly, and if I was going to do something, I would really want to get it, you know, absolutely bang on.
OK. Now, you know, we've been talking a little bit about Steve's tour, of course, and his forthcoming movies. We've touched upon. One's called Tropic Thunder. That's the one with Ben Stiller in, which I have seen. I saw it over the summer. Fantastically funny. I mean, genuinely very funny and very kind of dark. I mean, very much like a British movie in some ways.
Yeah.
Only funny.
Yeah.
But then also, I know you've got a new TV thing coming out as well, which isn't... it doesn't sound like a comedy. Is it a comedy or is it a comedy?
It's a drama, but it's drama with very funny moments, but it's more sort of sad with funny bits. But Craig Cash wrote it and directed it.
Now, Craig, of course, was heavily involved in creating and co-writing the Royal Family, so that's pretty good pedigree right there.
That's right, yeah. And it was shot in Manchester, and I play a bin man who's a gambling addict. Yeah. So it was nice to go back to Manchester and work with some, you know, real Northerners. John.
Can you do a Manchester accent? Can you do that?
Well, it's funny actually because I sort of change my accent depending on who I'm with.
So hold it. So when you're in America, if you're in an American movie, you become slightly American-y.
No. When I'm in America, what I do is, well, it depends if you're asking for, like, in America, if you ask for a glass of water, right? So you can have a glass of water. They go, what? You go, can I have a glass of water, please? They go, what? You go, water. They go, what? And you go, water. And they go, oh, he wants some water. Yeah. Okay. but I don't play. I do sort of. They really like the English accent over there, so I actually don't do any Northern at all. I sort of become sort of Lord Coogan of Manchester.
Jolly, have you ever said jolly good to an American person?
Yeah, I say cheers, mate.
Hey, how lovely to have you here. It's great to see you again. I'm going to come and see you live. I'm really excited about seeing you live.
Good. Well, I'll make sure there's a ticket for you to buy.
Apparently not a problem with the O2. I'm sure we'll sell out any minute now.
Yes. There's a few left. They'll have to hurry if they want a ticket.
Yeah. All those people who couldn't get tickets for Stevie Wonder, take pity on him instead. Same first name. We'll do a bit of suspicious superstition for you. OK, suspicion. Mr. Steve Coogan, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic. Great. I'll come the O2 one then. Steve Coogan. Isn't he lovely? Shall we get my next guest out? She's a model, a fashionista, she's a very beautiful young woman. In fact, she's everything that Gok 1 really wants to be. Will you please welcome the lovely Abby Clan?